All right, let's try that. Hello, how is everybody doing? Thank you for checking out this video. Support for the channel is definitely awesome. I do appreciate it. Today I want to talk about preps. Everybody's talking about all the geopolitics that are going on and how to survive Armageddon and all that kind of stuff. Well, we got to get there somehow, and we got to do it through, well, preparedness, prepping, and putting some beans, bullets, and band-aids back. Now, when it comes to the basics of prepping, it's food, water, shelter for me. Everybody has their own little formula about it. Water is definitely a high priority, but we gotta prepare the essentials. And the essentials are gonna vary depending on who you are, what your lifestyle is, what your family, household, area, geographic area, stuff like that is, and how you're gonna be able to apply to that situation. Everybody's gonna be different, but there are definitely key core preps that we need to get. One that I want to add to the list that nobody really talks about is flour. Now, I don't know if it actually focused right there, but I have Pillsbury wheat bread flour here as an example. Potentially one of the most important preps that you can get. Now, it doesn't have to be wheat. No, it doesn't have to be bread flour. Bread flour, it's a little bit finer. There are some different flours out there. Even getting into a cornmeal, corn flour, rice flour. Lots of different ways you can go with it. They all basically do the same thing. I would say rice flour could be another alternative. But there are ways to make rice flour out of rice, and you should have a lot of rice put back as well. Get yourself a small mill. You got yourself rice flour, mortar and pestle. You can get yourself rice flour. It's not going to yield a lot, and it's a lot of work, but you can do it. And of course, then there's going to be easier ways depending on what we have. We have electricity, snap, easy. But flour. Why is flour so important when it comes to preps? Nobody really talks about it. There is a whole lot that you can do. I can get into comparisons with some of the other preps like rice, beans, canned food, stuff like that. It's not really about a comparison, just why this is important and why it should be mentioned a whole lot more than it is. You can do a lot with it. You really can. Flour goes back to the beginning of time, basically, when they found out that wheat plant could be edible. We have made things out of that wheat plant. Now, one of the great things about flour is you can get it in different stages. You can go all the way to the processed part of it. You can get pre-made cake mixes. You can actually get it baked. You can buy a loaf of bread, throw it in your freezer. You can buy doughs. You can buy pizza crusts, doughs that you just need to bake, pie crust that you need to bake. This is all flour. Then you can run it all the way back to processed flour and wheat berries. Wheat berries are something that store basically forever. They are very hard to spoil in most conditions, and you can create flour from that. Of course, it's one of the preps that you can grow. So you can put a small patch of wheat that yields a decent amount. Wheat it's got a pretty good yield to it. So if you're able to just put a small plot, plant some wheat, learn how to grow it, learn how to harvest it, you are constantly going to have energy to stay alive. But until then, for most of us everyday folks, just buying one of these, I am sure this isn't focusing well because I have it directed on my eyes and my face, but just buy one of these, or a couple of those, or 100 of those, or buy it in bulk, buy 100-pound sacks, 50-pound sacks, whatever you want to do. But get some flour. Now, again, I gotta go back. Why is flour so important? You can do a lot with it. You can, obviously, the elephant in the room when it comes to flour, you can bake bread. Depending on a combination of a couple ingredients, you can bake lots of different types of breads. It can go as simple as adding warm water to bread. There's a lot of countries in history, a lot of places in the Middle East, back in Italy and Europe, Sure, even in Asia, and I don't have like all the details on this, but simple breads go way back. And it's basically just get the consistency from rainwater, if you please, and crushed up wheat berries. Combine those together, get the consistency you want, throw it in flames, and you have food. It is literally that easy. People make baking to be a lot more difficult than it really is. It can literally be that simple. Now, if you want bubbles and air pockets, add yeast. If you want it to rise when you're cooking it, add baking powder. If you want it to taste better, add some salt. If you want it to be sweet, add some brown sugar. So you can do a lot of different things with it. That kind of leads me to the next thing. It can be very simple, as in water and flour, but you can do so much with it. Like I said, adding sugar, you can have desserts, cakes, flan. I'm not sure if flan does. You can do pies. You can add fat, add some pork lard. You can have yourself tortillas. Depending on the fats that you use, you can do different things with butter and sugar. Desserts, breads, quick breads. It's a really big area. So as far as being versatile, it's way more versatile than, say, beans, which you can do a lot with beans. It's way more versatile than rice, and you can do a lot with rice, but you can't do as much with rice as you can with flour. Now, as far as storage, prepping, how do you store flour? Now, the best way, and this is going to apply with rice a lot too, keep it in the freezer. Freeze it. If you got room to freeze it, that is the best way to keep it. It's going to keep the longest. Flour does spoil. Flour will go rancid. I've been kind of touching on this a little bit, not on purpose all the time, but when flour goes rancid, and for me, in my conditions, my humidity, the dew points here, the altitude here, the sunlight that my area that I'm keeping my flour is getting, and the temperature of that thus area, I am getting about 1 year. Now, I have gotten a couple 25 and 50 pound bags. Without baking consistently, it's going bad on me. So I don't recommend that. This would be a last minute SHTF apocalyptic Walmart is on fire grab at the last second. Everybody's going to be going for steaks. Everybody's going to be going for Campbell's soup. Go for flour. Get some flour because it's not going to last forever. If you're planning on anything for more than a year, get some at the last minute, even up to a year, 8 months plus. Make sure you got plenty of flour. You can't live on it, but it's really going to get you through a lot of hard times. And there is nothing like the smell of fresh baked bread in the apocalypse. Just ask anybody that works at Subway. So flour. You can do all these different things with it. Another thing that you can do with it, I meant to add this in before, so I'm kind of jumping around, but roux. You can thicken sauces, thicken soups, thicken liquids. You can do, I think they did a water pie. It's just water, fat, flour, and they made a pie crust. And they made sugar. They made a sweet pie out of that, called water pie. You can look it up. It's very simple. I think it's 3 ingredients: sugar, water, and flour, or something like that. But there are things that you can do that are similar to that with pectin, with gelatin and stuff, cornstarch. But you can also do it with flour. Flour is basically going to make you a gravy. Yes, you can make the gravy. Yes, you can make a sausage gravy, a black pepper gravy. You can make thickened cream sauces. You can, it's kind of endless. And I should have come more prepared on the culinary side of this, because there's thousands of things that you can do as far as thickening goes, baking, and just everything. Flour, it's got 1,001 uses. I think you can even make glue out of flour, doing paper mache and stuff like that. So there's going to be utilitarian uses for it. But yes, flour is one of those preps we all need to learn how to use it. Like I said, it's not very hard. This is technology that goes back to long before Christ, when people just figured out that they can harvest the flame and bring it back to their cave. They were using flour. They were baking things with whatever it was, whatever they could mill, grind between two rocks, make into a paste, add heat into it. But flour and wheat berries, that goes way back. Yeah, just one of those preps that everybody should absolutely have. You should have a lot of it, and you should learn how to use it. It's not too hard. Simple ingredients: if you have a scale, if you have an analog scale with actual lead weights, steel weights, anything like that, try to have one of those if you can, because electricity and batteries are not going to last forever. But it does pay to weigh things out. Hopefully you guys have a baking book, some cooking books, instructional cooking books could be good as well, but some recipes for some different breads. They're everywhere. You could probably find a couple in Goodwill or Freebies or something like that, because, well, nobody likes to bake. Nobody wants to bake their own bread. But you can do it. It's really easy. I'm actually going to bake some bread today. I'm going to make some English muffins. I've never made them before. It's mostly about the fat with that. And still, that's basically, I think it's fat, salt, water, flour, cornmeal. I don't have cornmeal. I need to get some cornmeal. Yeah, I dropped the ball on that one. I'm going to have to go look at my preps. I might have some in there, but if it's packed up deep into my preps, I might not do that. And just cheat, not cycle through that one and just buy some other, but do have to have cornmeal. But I'm going to be baking some bread today. And I thought with that in the plans for the day that, hey, it'd be a good time to talk about a prep and some of the things that you can do with it. Gotta have it. Get yourself some flour. All right, I'll leave it with that. Thank you for watching this video. I will talk to you guys next time. Till then, peace.
It's a change to feel a moment.